right now.
Hello, my name is Richard. Can you tell me your name, please?
Hello, my name is Nguyễn Minh Hằng.
Let's start with part one. How will the tourism industry in your country change in the future?
From what I'm seeing, we are opening up and taking in lots of cultures from the outside world. There are lots of projects going on right now, such as the castles on Bà Nà Hills in Da Nang or the Beverly Hills just outside Hạ Long. So you can see that these constructions are more foreign-oriented. So my take is that we are aiming for a multicultural image of the country.
Let's move on to part two. I'm going to give you a topic and I'd like you to talk about it for 1 to 2 minutes. I'd like you to describe an experience when you were late for an event. You have 1 minute for this to take notes.
I'm going to describe one time that I'm late for an important event. This happened actually a very long time ago, and it was the only time I had ever been late for an important event. I was in 3rd grade, and that day was the day for the finals, literature, as I remember still. The exam started at 1:30 p.m., so I was supposed to wake up at 1 p.m. I told my dad to wake me up because I didn't have a phone back then. I couldn't set the alarm. But for some reason, my dad probably thought that I could use some more sleep, so he woke me up at 1:30 instead. Needless to say, I woke up in complete terror. We were rushing at school, and I was furious with my dad, but even more so with myself. Or on the way to school, I was so numb with fear that I couldn't do anything straight. And when I finally got to the classroom, everyone had already taken their seat and the papers had been distributed. I broke down in front of everyone and sobbed into my palms. I was terrified that it was the end of my life. I would never get past 3rd grade. So it was very embarrassing and terrible. I guess that the invigilator took pity on me and she told me to just take my seat and take the test as normal. Needless to say, the relief and the disbelief that rushed through me were overwhelming. The test went on fine. From that experience, I learned that I could never rely on anyone but myself. So I bought myself a new alarm clock, and I was never late for anything else again.
Thank you very much. Let's move on to part three. Why do people need to be on time?
I think people need to be on time because it is respectful to others and to themselves to do so. Punctuality is such an important yet overlooked quality in this bubbling age. We are living in an interconnected age. Teamwork is widely valued and executed everywhere, in every company, every institution, every event. So just imagine if each individual allows themselves just a little bit more time for dallying, and so the team will have to wait for each individual to arrive so they can get the work done. The result will be the work will get done too late for the deadline or will not get done at all. So I believe that people should always be on time.
Thank you very much. That's the end of the speaking test.
Thank you. Oh.
No. How was that?
Not as horrible as I thought.
Oh, but you have tried earlier, so
Yeah.
it's not a big deal. And now let's hear some comments from the experts.
So, Richard, what do you think of that performance?
It was very interesting to hear her pronunciation. It had a little touch of British accent to it. You know, she had so much to say and so quickly. You know, her mind was so active that she actually, her rate of speech was kind of fast sometimes, and she could have slowed down and chunked it a little bit better sometimes to help her listener understand everything that she was saying. And I'd have to say that her part 3 answer has just lost a little bit of coherence because she was asked to talk about areas of world knowledge, and she's such a young person. I think it's natural that someone so young might find it difficult to answer those part 3 questions. One very interesting thing, she had a very extensive vocabulary, and she tripped over on an idiom there at some point. She made a reference to the hubbling, bubbling age, which is adorable, and I intend to use it from now on. Yeah, that was a very small lapse, and overall she is a fantastic user of English at a very young age and has a great future ahead of her.
A round of applause.
Thank you.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Are you proud of your friend?
Extremely.
Extremely. Thank you so much. Before you leave, I have some gifts for you.
Oh, thank
From
you.
BTV7 and British Council. Thank you so much for joining us. It's so lovely to meet you guys here.
Thank you.
So guys, that is our talk with these 2 cuties from Halong City. Don't go anywhere, stay tuned, because we'll be back with the tip and tip section.
In this week's edition of Tips, and Tips, we're going to be talking about time management. So in the reading section, what is your advice to better time manage?
Okay, well, I think that some people would suggest that in the reading part of the exam, you should time yourself very carefully with those 3 parts of the exam. And some people would suggest that setting aside a little more time for the 3rd section. For me, I think it's true actually, but one should experiment with that. So I think that one should try spending a little more time on section 3 and then try it again, spending a little more time on sections 1 and 2, for example, until you find the mix that's right for you. Because firstly, it's a great idea to repeat these exercises again and again. And it takes a little repetition, I think, until you find the mix that's correct for you in that way.
So Richard, do you have any idioms for us this time?
You've ever been in a situation where things are not exactly perfect, but you have to keep smiling? Mm-hmm. The expression is to grin and bear it. Yeah. I've got another one here. What about, when things are not going so well for you, but again, you just have to persevere. Take the rough with the smooth. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if you want more tips, or if you want to have a look at IELTS books that can help you reach your IELTS score, make sure you check out some of our books advice. And this includes all types of books. Check it out.
This book features tips and strategies written by us examiners. It is quite short, only 90 pages, and is easy to understand. There are not as many practice opportunities compared to other books, so it is much effective to use this book in tandem with a practice test focused book to put the strategies and tips into practice. There is a CD-ROM with a full interactive practice test and sample speaking interviews.
You might be wondering, sitting in your room, watching our show, and thinking, where can I get all of those books? It's not difficult to get books nowadays. Check out potentially tiki.vn to discover your books and have them delivered to your door. Why not? All right, thanks Richard for coming by.
Pleasure.
Always.
Thanks so much, Phoebe.
Absolutely. Whew. I like this idea of rising up from the ground. If we all like to make a difference, I think IELTS FACE-OFF is definitely a place where I feel like we've made such a big difference. Everybody has a role to play, everybody's making a difference. The show itself is creating a lot of disruption and changes. So tune in, because we really want to be the miracle that inspires everybody to do something better. Ciao, ciao, ciao!